Welcome to the HowTheyLostWeight.com interview program, where you'll learn weight loss strategies and techniques from real people who've successfully lost weight and kept it off. We invite you to sit forward, get ready to take notes, and join your host and weight loss expert, David Fry, as he interviews today's weight loss guest.
Hello, my name is David Fry, and I want to welcome you to the HowTheyLostWeight.com podcast. This is the podcast where we interview people who have lost a lot of weight and been able to keep it off. Today, we're going to interview Brandy Johnson, and Brandy is from Kentucky, and she's got 4 boys. She's a stay-at-home mom, and these boys age from 7 to 13, so you know she's a busy woman. Brandy has lost over 59 pounds, and so for all you stay-at-home moms out there, this is going to be a great interview for you. You're going to be able to learn a lot, so listen up.
All right, Brandy, welcome. I'm so glad you're with us today.
Thank you.
So why don't we start out by just telling us where you're from and what you do for a living?
Okay, I'm from Murray, Kentucky, and I am actually a stay-at-home mom. I have 4 boys, ages 7 to 13.
You're a busy woman.
Yes, I am.
Especially with 4 boys. So let's tell me, what was your starting weight and what weight are you at right now?
Well, at my highest point, I was 191 pounds, and right now I am about 132 pounds. I fluctuate basically between 125 and 135, depending on what kind of training I'm working on.
And how tall are you?
About 5'5".
Amazing. That's great. So how long did it take you to lose that weight?
It took me about 9 months, I would say, to get to my maintenance weight. Like I said, between the 125 and 135. I had a pretty good, I lost probably, I would say, the first 25 to 30 pounds within about 3 or 4 months, and then trimming the rest of that off took a good 9 months to get it down.
So what motivated you to finally lose the weight?
Well, I was, like I said, I have 4 boys, and so I had all 4 of them in 5.5 years, and it was pretty much a crisis mode in my life at that point with the little ones. It was a good crisis, but crisis nevertheless, and so I felt like I was just constantly caring for them. We had some health issues involved in that, and we had a big move, and so taking care of myself really got on the back burner, and I also... Everybody kept saying things to me like, you know, you're chasing 4 boys around. Don't worry about your weight. It'll fall off. You know, you're busy all the time. You're not lazy. And, you know, kind of affirming me with, you know, saying that I don't fit the stereotypical overweight person. And so, you know, for a while I bought into that and was just kind of hopeful because I felt like I just didn't have any energy to put back onto myself. And finally, when my baby was 2 years old and I weighed 191 pounds, which was about a good 15 pounds more than the day I gave birth, I was like, okay, this just I can't continue like this. And I realized that I actually had stopped going to church. I had stopped going out in public quite a bit because I was extremely self-conscious with the way I looked and the way I felt. And I just thought, this is not the way I want to live my life. And these boys are busy and active, and I want to be right there with them.
So what specific things did you do to lose the weight? That's over 70 pounds, right?
Yes. Yeah, from the greatest to the least, yes. So what I did was I started an exercise program, which was a first for me. I was 30 years old, by the way. And so that was the first time I'd exercised ever. I was a bookworm in school, and so didn't play any sports, just really didn't have an athletic bone in my body. And so I was extremely nervous about that and figured that I would only exercise just to get the weight off. And ended up, you know, obviously enjoying exercise more than I thought I would. But that was a big key, was adding in the exercise for me. And then being very intentional about my food. What I found was that I was just eating without thinking most throughout the day, just putting things in my mouth, whether it be leftovers or comfort food, something that just tasted good in my mouth, instead of making plans of what my body actually needed and would be good for me. And so I've really focused on intentional eating.
So do you plan out your meals?
I do, absolutely.
So how have you managed to keep that weight off for so long?
Well, thankfully, I've been able to maintain consistent workouts now for over 5 years, which I'm just extremely thankful for and proud of. So working out is an absolute part of my day, at least 5 days, if not 6 days a week. And second of all, I have become habitually intentional with my eating. And so I do make a plan and then discipline myself to stick to the plan, which isn't as hard as making the plan. Once the plan's made, it's a lot easier to stick to it. It's just actually having the discipline to make the plan. But that has been my key to success. Mm-hmm.
Does having a plan help to motivate you to stay on the plan?
Yes, I think it does. For one thing, budget-wise, once I make a plan and, have my food, then I have to eat it because I'm not going to go and spend extra money, to buy other stuff. I don't have the extra money to do that. And so, that's helpful. But also, I enjoy having, it makes me feel a little bit more in control rather than just, being at the mercy of however I feel each day. Once I have a plan that I know is going to get me to my goals and I can see it written down, it's easier for me to stick to that and know, okay, this is what I've already thought out and planned out. So even when I don't feel like it today, I know that this is what's good for me.
So how do you control your temptations to overeat and eat the wrong foods?
Well, in addition to meal planning, I meal prep. So I always have, I try to always have, I don't want to sound as if I'm, perfect in this because I definitely struggle. But more often than not, I will have my meal prepared ahead of time. And so like Sundays, a lot of times I cook up for the week and I will cook little muffin omelets and I will have meatballs, artichoke or cauliflower meatballs and some really good, dense food that is really good for me already prepared in the refrigerator. So it's as easy for me to grab something that's healthy and part of my plan as it is for me to grab a snack out of the cabinet that would not be as beneficial to my overall health.
Do you find all this pre-prep and planning hard?
There are definitely times that, on a Sunday afternoon, there's something I would rather be doing. But I think part of being a busy mom also is I've found that I like to build margin into my life wherever I can because things are so busy. So I have learned that the discipline ahead of time for meal planning and, even taking care of my home and my children, as much as I can do ahead of time, gives me a little bit of breathing room throughout the week. And so I think that I'm to the point that I've experienced enough of the blessing of that discipline that I can value that now and appreciate it a whole lot more. But there definitely comes a point in the beginning where you're like, okay, I've heard this. I think this could be good, but you haven't experienced it yet. But I think after a little while of actually experiencing the blessing of the discipline and the preparation and the margin that can be built in that way, I think that is rewarding enough to keep somebody on track, or at least to keep myself on track, I should say.
You're listening to the HowTheyLostWeight.com interview program.
So were there any obstacles you had to overcome to begin exercising and then to keep on exercising?
Yes, actually I have an autoimmune disease. And so for quite some time, every time I would try to exercise, different just different health obstacles would pop up. And being an autoimmune disease is very random and odd things, and would basically derail me. And I felt like I was starting back from scratch each time. And it got to the point that I was facing some serious medical questions as far as what kinds of medications and what plan I was going to take to deal with that part of my health. And as I was reading and studying, I knew that getting my weight and my whole metabolic system healthy could help prevent me from going down this road of drug of medicine, trying to deal with this for a little while, at least postpone that for as long as I could. And so I kept just kind of sticking it through, and finally I was able to find something that I really think stirred the metabolic process in my whole body, that was able to wake some things up and help me get on a healthier track and persevere through that. And now I can definitely tell that the exercise is actually beneficial to my autoimmune disease, rather than the opposite, my autoimmune disease keeping me from exercise.
And what kind of exercising do you do right now?
Right now I'm doing CrossFit. I enjoy CrossFit because I think it really combines several components. We have a weightlifting component, gymnastics component, and then also metabolic conditioning. And so I enjoy the variety in that, and I also enjoy the challenge of literally having some things that I cannot accomplish at this point. I cannot do handstand push-ups, for instance. And so I'm encouraged and challenged that I can actually continue to take steps through modifications of that movement and eventually be able to master that movement. Where I found for a while, like running, okay, I can do this. I can put one foot in front of the other over and over and over, but I didn't enjoy that as much. It was like, I can do this, but why? And so having a few things that I cannot do, but have the potential to be able to do, is encouraging for me.
Could you briefly describe the diet or the healthy eating plan you're following right now?
Yes. Right now I am doing what's called a flexible dieting plan. And basically it is counting the macronutrients that I take in each day. And so there's a certain amount of proteins, fat, and carbohydrates that I shoot for each day. And I keep track of that by using the MyFitnessPal app on my phone. And I do not follow the guidelines that they set up. You can put in your weight and your goal weight and your height, and MyFitnessPal will give you a suggested calorie intake. But I found that was not healthy for me, the numbers that they were suggesting. And so after doing some research and considering my activity level and my goals, I put my own numbers in there, but just use MyFitnessPal to help keep track of that for me. And so I eat a high-protein diet. I try to get 125 grams of protein per day. And then I get 60 grams of fat and 90 grams of carbohydrates. So it's a very balanced diet. But through the research that I've done and the trial and error with my own health and body, I realized that there's great benefit to not excluding or restricting those three macronutrients, and that my body uses each of those in different ways. And so the fat, generally makes me happy. It helps my hormones and my mood, and so it's really important for that. It also lubricates my joints, and so I'm not quite as sore. And, of course, the protein feeds the muscle. With CrossFit, I am trying to build muscle and be strong. And then the carbohydrates obviously give me energy and help me feel full and satisfied, as well as most of my carbohydrates I'll get through vegetables. And so I'm getting all my extra vitamins and nutrients as well. So it's a very balanced diet, but the key is consistency. My body knows each day what I'm going to feed it, and so therefore my body feels very comfortable using everything I give it efficiently because it has confidence I will feed it again tomorrow, the exact same thing. So it doesn't have the need to store and kind of go through that, the starvation and, saturation modes off and on all throughout the day. It's very consistent.
You mentioned you have 4 boys. So how do you integrate your eating plan to accommodate the rest of your family?
Well, that is also where the meal prep comes in handy. So I don't always eat the same thing as them, which obviously for growing boys have much different nutritional requirements than, a 35-year-old woman. So the meal prep definitely comes in handy. A lot of times, I'm able to eat the side dishes, or maybe the main entree and substitute my own sides. So it's not that I eat completely different from them, but having some prepared food to choose from and sub in places is what helps me be able to keep my diet on plan and still meet the nutritional needs of my children.
So what about supplements? Do you take any supplements that you add to your diet?
I do. I use Advocare products. I regularly use their Spark, which is a vitamin and energy drink. And I also use Arginine Extreme, which is it helps with cardiovascular endurance, and it also just has a lot of vitamins and things that are helpful with weightlifting. I also use their probiotic pill just for digestive nutrients, to digest and really absorb the vitamins that I am taking in through my foods naturally and healthily.
So looking back now, what would you say you would do differently in your weight loss journey?
Well, I would have liked to have had a healthier mindset when I started. When I started, just simply wanted to get the weight off. I wasn't concerned with my overall health as I should have been. And so at the beginning, I went on just a very restricted calorie diet and I definitely was not fueling my body appropriately. So I did shed pounds, but I wasn't strong and healthy. So I would like to have had more knowledge and understanding of the health components and what my body needs to be strong and healthy. And then I think a second thing that I would have done differently is not viewed it as taking away from my family. I felt selfish somewhat to plan a workout and to take the time out of my week to prep meals simply for myself, because it just felt selfish. I'm a mom. I give to my kids, and to take that time away was something I struggled with, but I realized quickly, and people said it all the time, I just didn't take it to heart, is that until I'm strong and healthy, then I can't give 100% to my kids. And so I'll be a better mother when I'm better to myself, when I love myself and take care of myself. So I definitely wish that I could have grasped that in the beginning as well.
So we just have a few minutes left, and I'd like to ask you the last question. What are your 3 best pieces of advice to those who want to lose weight and keep it off? And we have probably about 6 to 7 minutes for that.
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate accountability. I think that word is something that a lot of times is put in a negative connotation. It has the sense of, hey, somebody's looking over my shoulder and I've got to, please them or do what they're expecting of me. But I really think that accountability is a gift. And if we can view it as a gift and as a sense of strength to accomplish what we truly want to accomplish, then I think that that's very empowering. And so when you share your goals with people and when you have somebody right next to you pushing you to achieve what you have deemed healthy and something desirable in your life, I think that is just really great. They pick you up when you fall. They remind you of your goals when your emotions might get in the way, and just really keep you on a track that you've set for yourself, and that's a gift. So I definitely encourage people to have accountability in their health goals.
Mm-hmm.
I think a second thing is setting a very specific time. Carve it out, write it in pen, and treat it as important as you do so many other things, whether it be, hey, I'm supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, if you have committed to be at the gym at 6 o'clock at night, then you write it down in stone, just like you do having to be at work. Or, I've got to pick my kids up from school. Well, I also have to work out. It's not negotiable, because if we put anything, if we do it with our leftovers, something's always going to get in the way. We are all way too busy and too many things come up. And so it's always going to fall to the end if we don't mark it in stone. And so I definitely encourage people to set the appointment and then keep that commitment, just like you do the other important things in your life. And then third of all, find something you enjoy. Set, whether it's the things that you enjoy eating, things that you enjoy exercising, activities that you enjoy with your family. It doesn't have to be a burden, instead of it being something like, oh, I've got to lose weight and I've got to do this, view it more as this is what is empowering and encouraging me in my life. And this is what I do to enjoy and live my life to the fullest. And I think that everybody is different in that. But I think that, we can all find things that we really enjoy. And as we're healthier and stronger, we realize we're enjoying those things a whole lot more, whether it be from our family to our exercise to our eating. We can truly enjoy those things because we're healthy and strong.
Fantastic. Awesome pieces of advice. Brandy, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for being on the How They Lost Weight program. This is really amazing, and congratulations for your ability to stick with your program and be fit and healthy and not have it be so addictive in a personality, but it's part of your everyday life. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandy, for coming on the show today and sharing with us how you were able to lose weight. Let's go over a couple of things that she taught us. Number one, she says, always have accountability in your health goals. You and I know that when you bring a second person into your weight loss journey, it makes it a whole lot easier, whether you're meeting that person at the gym, whether you're just sharing your scale weight on a daily basis, or whether you're meeting with that person on a weekly basis. Build accountability in your weight loss goals. Number two, set a very specific time to work out. She says that if you carve that time out and write it in pen and treat it as important as you do other daily chores or daily activities, it's more likely to happen. So, for instance, if you take your kids to school at 8 a.m. and go right over to the gym, it happens on a daily basis consistently, and you're more likely to stick with it. Now, the third thing is to find healthy things that you like eating and fun exercise and activities that you enjoy doing. This is so important. The way that you turn a weight loss activity into a healthy lifestyle that you'll be able to do for a long time is to find those things that you enjoy. Find the foods that you enjoy. Find the exercises that you enjoy. And when you enjoy them, you're more likely to do them. All right, we've come to the end of our podcast, and I want to invite you to go over to the howtheylostweight.com website. Click on ebooks, because I've got a special free ebook for you. It's called Portion Control Secrets. And I put in this book about 20 to 21 different methods for making sure that you control the portions of food that you eat. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and I put them in this book, and it's free. So go over to the website, click on ebooks, scroll down, you'll see Portion Control Secrets. You can download it for free. Thanks again for being on the HowTheyLostWeight.com podcast, and we will see you in our next episode.
Thank you for listening to the HowTheyLostWeight.com interview program. We hope you were inspired today. and discovered a new tip, technique, or strategy to help you on your journey to lose weight, get fit, and stay healthy for life.